So I'm just going to let you watch while I create my house. I'm not going to say much except for the beginning because then I can put it on hyperspeed and just kind of go through. So it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. You're going to see me hit undo. You're going to see all sorts of things, but you're just watching me do the work. Notice that I have split my screen and I have my design right here. This was a very important step of the process, and so you want to use it. You don't want to ignore it. Have it right here. Have the floor plan with dimensions right here. Maybe think about the dimensions that you need to be making and have those right beside you as we are starting. You'll notice that I created a project and I called it House Project, and I'm going to create a 3D design. Make sure that you rename it. I don't want it to be some random thing, so just name it your name, first or last or both. I don't care. Or just something that makes more sense. I guess it doesn't have to be your name. It can be whatever you want, but as long as it's not random. All right, and then I like to adjust my work plane because then I can use these measurements a bit more effectively. So like right now it says that the house I'm modeling off of is 30 feet wide. I also added a garage, so I need to account for that. So let's say 30 and, gosh, should my garage be 20? My husband would say yes. So 30 and 20, so my house is going to be 50 feet wide. So let's go ahead and make the width of this, should we do 70? Sure, 70. And then it's not quite, it's actually, I can tell by my drawing that it is wider than it is deep. But at the same time, I'm going to want to have like a backyard and stuff like that. So I'm just going to make it 70 also. But those are things you want to think about before to make it easier on yourself. I know it looks small, but we'll just zoom in. Remember, you can shift right click to pan across instead of just turning and moving. All right, so zooming in. I said I wanted a backyard, so I am going to start my house slightly to the front of the work plane. All right, now I'm going to look at my house. It's not ideal to have this all be one big shape just because in case you want to adjust things, but I've perfected this pretty much in my plan, which is another reason we do the plan. So I'm identifying this square right here as all being one unit. I can't really do each room because I do like these variations right here. So I'm just going to do one big rectangle, then I'll add the mudroom, the garage, and the porch as separate shapes. So let me do that in fast motion really quick. By the way, I don't want red walls. I don't know any house that is completely red. So my advice to you, I'll just talk through this part too, is to drag out your item, pick a color that's more house. I don't care what it is, but do realize that unless you're going to add another layer for your paint, which I don't suggest doing, this is going to be the color of your walls inside your house. You can do some adjustments later, but if you care to have a certain color of wall for your house and you want to make it easy, just do it now. All right, so I'm making this square. This square is 30 feet wide. We're just gonna go 30 millimeters. So click and 30. Done. And it looks to be slightly wider than it is long. So we're just going to say, in fact, no, that's okay. Let's do this as 26. And take this down to maybe 10 feet walls. That's tall, but whatever, all good. All right, so there is my basic house. I might need to scoot it over from my garage, but I think I'll be okay right here. We shall find out. Next is the inside. No, in fact, let's just make that mudroom and garage right now, while I'm on the same level and work plane and color. Notice I just use copy paste in order to make another shape of the same color, same height, and control copy, control paste. And here's my garage. And I can line these things up with the align tool. And remember, my garage should not be as wide as my whole house, so we're going to make the garage only. Did I link them already? See, I told you you'd see mistakes. Why are these already joined? That was weird. Okay, so we'll reset those. Maybe because I had the align clicked. But so let's make sure we put these measurements in before I start doing other crazy stuff. 30 wide house, we're gonna make the garage 20 wide. And then I'm going to adjust my perspective, bring this right up where I want it. Slightly overlapping is good, just to avoid the walls we're gonna have later. I'm gonna bring this up. Looks like I just aligned it quite well. Oh, and then I didn't. So again, you can always use the align tool. Using the align tool to match them together. Okay. And so you can see that my work plane is pretty much the perfect size for this house because I planned it that way. And now we have our exterior walls. It's time to open them up with a box, a whole box. We're going to do each of those kind of areas separately. We don't want to do them all at once. So let's do the major house. This is where it might be helpful to have written down your dimensions because obviously we need just slightly less than that. So I'm going to put it right here for now. So the height of my current house is 10. Let's just match that. In fact, why don't we do Control Copy, Control Paste, and then just make this a whole. Now it's almost ready. And then rise up by, let's move up by 1. Works for me. Foundation is now 1. And then I want to pull the sides in by 1 as well. So 1 total. And so I'm going to make the total width 29 and the total depth, let's click the wrong one, 25. So I'm just remembering that everything is by 1. And then I'm going to set it in here, and you know that I could wiggle this around, or I could be more precise and use click, click, align, and find the correct alignment that I'm looking for, which is this direction and this direction. I don't want to align them top to bottom because this one here, the height, because I literally pulled up the hole on purpose. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing for the mudroom and the garage. I can go ahead and group these right now so you can see. And I have my, well, I am going to move these now that I can see back so that they don't interfere. Okay. And next. Exterior walls are created. Okay, now technically these right here, I mean, if you want to get super picky, they could overlap. The problem with them not overlapping is that your door will have to be extra wide here. So I'm just going to see if I can scooch that to match. I need to adjust my snap grid because it's going too much. Okay, that looks better. Now I don't have to have different shaped or different depth of door because I kind of pulled everything over to a line. Which brings us to doors. No, I have a weird line here now because of that, but that's okay. I will live. Doors, the only thing that's unique or weird about the doors is you need to add a work plane right here. so that, well, I mean, you don't have to, but that way you don't have to lift everything up 1 millimeter first. It'll be where it should be. Look at the document for how tall doors are in real life. Remember, these are all going to be holes. So definitely not that large compared to the house. So our walls are 10, but we moved them up 1 and we're already there. So doors are normally 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide, and definitely not this deep. You need to just be slightly deeper than your walls. So if your walls are 1, which I believe our outsides are 1, then this should probably be like 1.25. I don't know. Okay, there is an exterior door. And then just make sure your exterior door, see, it doesn't pop through on both sides. Pops through on both sides so that it truly cuts a hole. And I think I'm going to go ahead and make my interior walls before I do more doors because I don't remember where they'd sit exactly. Similar concept, drag out a box, change the color. I don't want red walls. I went super dark last time. I don't remember. Maybe we'll go lighter inside. And this is where I was getting at with the height. So we're already raised up appropriately. We want to make sure we match the height there, so 9, because we raised up 1. Length and width are going to depend on the room, but depth is going to be very small. I don't want it to be 1. It's not as thick as the outside. In fact, I'm going to 2.25 for my interior walls. Nice and thin, not taking up a ton of room because everything is rather small. Okay, and zooming in. And now it's my job to find my template and match it. So where were the kitchen walls? Where was the bedroom walls? All of those details. So I'm going to go ahead and start by, well, yeah, no, I'm going to flip this and start here. Okay, so I will just start working through those details.